No motion picture of our time has ever unleashed sharp spectacle of such scope and realism as up from the depths of prehistoric mystery rages Gorgo. The headlines of the world blaze the fabulous story of this monster from another age, catapulted from some vast sub-ocean cavern by unprecedented volcanic action. And the headlines scream the story of the reckless skin divers who captured the monster and put it on exhibition.
Sam! Pull up! Drop the nets! What do you think you're doing? Okay, take it easy.
I can't let him go back to the sea where he belongs.
Why?
Maybe to save their silly skins for you.
Hurry to see Gorgo!
But the headlines do not record the story of a little boy who had a curious sympathy and understanding for the fantastic creature. What strange secret does he know that scientists only suspect?
You trying to say there may be a fully grown one of these things around somewhere?
How big would a full-grown one be?
An approximate guess. The infant. The adult.
That would make it nearly 200 feet tall.
Wreaking terrible vengeance against the civilization that has captured its offspring. Towering over the cities of the world as millions flee its awesome terror.
Prepare! Prepare while you still can!
Nothing can stop it. Defying the force of the army. The might of the Navy.
Fire number 1, Terry. Ready to open fire, sir. Fire 1.
Even the fury of the jets. In a crashing crescendo of sights never before beheld by human eyes, and adventures never before experienced by any man or woman.
Damn, I want to see that movie. Welcome, everybody, to 31 Days of Monsters, day 29. I'm your host, Graham Nolan, and today we are talking about Gorgo. I've always wanted to like this movie. I remember watching it as a kid and seeing pictures in Famous Monsters of Filmland and the Monster Times and stuff like that. And, you know, I was a big fan of giant monster films. But when I did see it, I always thought, you know, I never could get into it. And I always thought it was because that the prints that were distributed were so bad. The color was so washed out and it looked really beat up. But no, I got the Blu-ray. And it doesn't look like they did much cleaning up on it, to be honest with you. But the problem with this movie is it's so slow. That trailer looks like it'd be a real, you know, kick-ass film. You know, barring any of the restrictions of their special effects. But it is boring. It is so slow to get going. It's like the first part of the movie is more about the relationship between the English and the Irish, and what's going on. There's this, you know, there's this distaste for one another that goes back, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years. And evidently it was still on the surface in 1960, 61 when this film came out. And they seem to be going into that. It takes a while for the baby Gorgo to show up on screen. There's way too much of that backstory going on. Then when he finally gets to England, it's a snooze fest. This is basically the plot of King Kong. You add in the mother aspect, and so that's the twist there. But basically, they find a giant creature. The greedy promoters decide they're going to make money off this creature. They bring it to London, whereupon it wreaks havoc, or its mother wreaks havoc. The effects are pretty good, considering the day. The color, shot in color, which was a rarity for these giant monster movies. But its pacing is very slow. It's only a 1 hour and 18 minutes long, and I felt like it was 2.5 hours watching it. So, yeah, I not a big fan of Gorgo, even though, let me present this image here. There we go. Even though we got this really cool comic by Steve Ditko that came out from Charlton Publications when it came out. That's not a Ditko cover, by the way, but Ditko did the interiors, and it ran for more than a few issues. I'd seen the comic too, advertised in places back in the day, and thought, oh, Gorgo must be great. They made a comic out of it, But alas, it was not true. So I'm going to give Gorgo a 4. It's not average. I think it's below average. But let's see what you guys think. So we got Dr. Mask as the first one in. JDC says, yo, Gorgo by Steve Ditko for Charlton Comics was more fun. Well, yeah, there you go. Pre-Spider-Man and pre-Doctor Strange, too. Rob Fellows is here. Dr. Mask is here. Pazmaster Dan. Creative Faye. Pazmaster Dan says, so prompt. Referring to me? I am. I'm one of those guys that when you say you're going to do something at a certain time, you're going to show up at a certain time, be there at that time. I hate lateness, and I hate being late. Hyper Kaiju is here. I haven't seen too much of him, maybe because he likes giant monster movies, and this is the first and only one. No, it's not the first one. That's not true, because we did Cloverfield. Stuffy British quote of the day. One expects the fantastic from you scientist types these days. Earthmind says they were not missing Gorgo Day. Pastmaster Dan, did I miss the stop motion one? Are you talking about yesterday, Piranha? The little stop motion creature from Piranha? Not sure what you're referring to. Greetings for each other, I see. Marcus Caligru says, I think all trailers should have an announcer. I like the typeface in the trailers, too. And the typeface on the Gorgo posters. It's very bouncy. I like that. And it was a good trailer, It's like, that's what trailers are supposed to do. They're supposed to make you interested in the movie, no matter how bad it may be. And in some cases, the trailers are better than the movies. Case in point. In fact, Kaiju says, what a trailer. Yeah. I know. I want to see that movie. Oh, nowhere near as good as either Godzilla King of the Monsters or Gojira, the Japanese original. which is better than King of the Monsters. But King of the Monsters is good too, even though they switched things around, cut and pasted the narrative, and they added the Raymond Burr character into it. That one's still a good movie. Chris Thacker is here. Marcus Kellegrew. I can't remember if I mentioned him. Venom Bite. Try to get everybody listed here. Rob says the Irish, or whatever accents those were. But I think they were supposed to be speaking Gaelic when they were out on the boats, and the English guys were yelling out to the sailors. And they even made mention of the language. I think they were using the native Irish language of the Gaelic. But I do not speak it. Marcus says Irish is Kamala's next accent. Yeah, she's probably studying Barry Fitzgerald tapes right now. Oh, I want to thank all the lovely people down in Innisfree who voted for me. Venom Bite just watched King Kong 76 yesterday. Boy, I remember when that was being advertised as coming out. Like that poster, that Berkeley poster was freaking amazing. Yeah, but it was not good. Dr. Mask likes the way that Gorgo wiggles his ears. Her ears, my friend. Ooh, wow. Shots fired here. King Kong 76 was better than Peter Jackson's King Kong. I'm no fan of Peter Jackson's King Kong. Primarily because it's overblown. It's too long. It's 3 hours plus. It's too self-indulgent. He loved the movie too much. Sort of like his Lord of the Rings. When you get to that fourth movie, he doesn't know how to end it. So he's got like 4 different endings. Peter Jackson could use a good editor, I think. Because King Kong, his version could have been really good. Certainly the effects were amazing. Vinzinger, a.k.a. ... I've seen Gorgo on Tubi. It was okay, although I need to rewatch it and see if I managed to like it or not. Yeah, he is a cool looking monster. The design is neat. Oh, I did not. Rob Fellow says, did anyone spot the poster for Hammer's The Mummy in the Piccadilly Circus shots? I did not, but that's cool. Marcus is giving 2 extra points for Ditko. Fair. Fair enough. Spaceman is here. Remember, Kaiju says it's hard for him to make the new time because of my work schedule. Well, next year, guys, we're going to go back to mornings. We're going to go back to like 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the mornings. I thought this would be a better time for me, but during the month of October, there's things we like to do, like in the afternoons, like when the leaves are changing and stuff like that. So it was more of a hindrance than I thought it would be. So we're going to go back to our morning times for next year. So hopefully Hyper Kaiju will be able to make more of those shows. Davina Duckworth is here. Dr. Mass says, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're already late. Harsh. Oh, Davina says she's been shadowing YouTube for the past few weeks, so I'm never sure if my chats are showing up. Interesting. What did you do to earn that? Probably nothing. I wonder if the British and the Japanese have that shared trauma of being bombed, plus the kaiju affinity. Well, it's an interesting theory, although I wouldn't say that the British have a kaiju affinity. I can only think of this movie as their foray into and out of giant monster films. Unless you guys can think of other giant monster movies that were made in the British Isles. Venom Bite watched Gojira last week. It was fantastic. It really is. Hyper Kaiju says he only speaks Gaelic after 3 glasses of Jameson. Well, what other languages would you speak after some of that nice Irish whiskey? Rob says Hammer Films tried to do a team up with Toho Studios to make Loch Ness Monster movie in the 70s. Nessie swims to Japan. How does Nessie get out of a lake and into the ocean? They're always after me, Lucky Charms. And yes, there was that in the 76 version. Gorgeous legs. Creative Faye will not be able to attend the day Worlds Collide, or When Worlds Collide, or The Thing from Another World. But she hopes we have a good one. Thank you. We will. And Kong is a perv. Buddy Drake says Peter Jackson likes slow-mo too much. King Kong would be 20 minutes shorter without it. Well, his lingering camera, too. He could have gotten us out of New York a lot faster, for one thing. Gotten us through the jungle faster, another. And to the point of New York a lot faster, too. I watched Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman after Gorgo. Seemed a lot shorter. Yeah, I think that's probably 90 minutes. This one was only, what, 72? A long 72. Basil Gogos Gorgo. Yeah, that's funny. Basil Gogos Gorgo. Cover for Famous Monsters was great, though. Yeah, it was. I love all of Basil Gogos's covers. Have you ever thought of doing this event for Christmas movies? No. I'm not into Christmas movies. Davina Duckworth says, Happy Halloween, everyone. And to watch out for Gorgo's mom. Venom Bite says it is the Kong movie is too long, but I like the Tyrannosaurus Rexes in this movie. I liked it too, but then the fight between them with the vines and stuff was just over the top, ridiculous. Grabbers, a modern day, sort of a giant not really a giant monster, but it's large. It's an Irish film. One of my favorites. I covered that, I think, my first year of doing this show. Love that movie. If you haven't seen Grabbers, check it out. There's no message or warning. My chats show up sometimes and often not on some streams. Maybe it's the streamer. Maybe the streamer has blocked you. Unless your stuff is showing up and then not showing up on the same stream. Dr. Mass wants to know, how has Indiegogo been for me on the shadow ban side? Only the one book was shadow banned. I have not experienced it since that time, knock on wood. And the irony is, it was my most successful campaign. It was for the Ghosts of Metacumba Key. But I haven't experienced it yet, or again, yet. I agree with this. Jack Black was lousy casting for the Robert Armstrong character of Carl Denham. He's too smarmy. Harper Kaiju loves grabbers. Dragon Dancer says, the song London Bridge is falling down going through my head. Hyper Kaiju learned about grabbers from this show. Excellent. Davina says her chance have been is just I don't know why I'm assuming it's a her. But yes, my chats have disappeared midstream. I suspect that shadow banning is manual. Hyper Kaiju says, I find Jack Black intolerable. Almost everything he's in. Elemental MJ is here. Okay, we are coming down to the wire, guys. We got 2 more shows. Tomorrow is a good classic. When Worlds Collide, George Powell production, 1951, I think. I'll double check that. 51 or 53. But it's early 50s, and it's a good one. So I believe that is streaming on Amazon, so you can catch that for free. Yeah, we're winding down. So tonight, the professionals, we're doing a little jockeying around. We're not going to be doing the show next week because it's election day. It's also Andy's birthday, and he's going to chill. So it was supposed to be Art's turn tonight, but he is seeding it because he's going to be doing a stream for his launch when he launches his book. So I'm taking it over, and we're going to be talking about sex and horror and how the two are intertwined in movies. You can't have one without the other, and one you can have without the other. But it's interesting how how sex is used in horror films. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. So that should be a fun discussion. So until then, hopefully we'll see you guys there tonight on my channel. And if not, we'll see you tomorrow at noon. Until then, my friends, you have a great day.